I'm here with Tia Hines, our wonderful sales rep in Jacksonville, and she's going to let us go inside her mind today for this initial episode of Inside the Mind of the Sales Rep. Tia, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, well, let's start at the beginning then. Where were you born?
Jacksonville, right across the street at Onslow Memorial.
Here in Jacksonville, and grew up here your whole life.
Between here and Richlands, yep.
High school was here,
High school was I'm a Richlands Wildcat, yes.
and what did your dad do for a living?
He was the deputy chief at the Jacksonville Police Department.
Okay.
So that was lots of fun as a teenager.
So growing up here in town where your dad was a police officer.
Yep.
And how was that like?
It was good when I got pulled for speeding, but it was not good when in other instances. No, it was not always fun. But and he just knew too much, too smart for his own good, too smart for me to have fun. So
Your dad had too much information about you.
just too much. Yeah, he was always hovering on me. So smarter than I was.
How about your mom? What did your mom do for a living?
Fidelity, 35 years.
So your mom has been a Fidelity employee for 30 plus years and was and still is at the branch here in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Any siblings?
None.
No siblings. Your only child.
I almost took her out of here at birth, and so she was like, "No, I think I'm done." So there's just Tia, just me.
Okay. All right. High school was here for you in town, and then college. Was there college for you?
Yes, I went to Coastal, and I went to Coastal, and then I started part-time at Fidelity when I was 16.
Okay.
Doing a lot of the running, going to pick up finals, the filing, there was a lot more paperwork back then. So I was kind of doing that stuff, answering phones. So I stayed on with college as well. When I went to college, I would work part-time with Fidelity still.
So you've had an affiliation with Fidelity for 20 plus years.
Yes. I've been full-time 20, and then part-time since I was 16. I'm terrified to do the math of that. So another I don't know. I'm 40 now, so what, 24, 25 years?
Almost 25 years. Did you do any other job after college?
No.
You just went to work for Fidelity?
Fidelity, yes, I did. Well, I did waitress
did?
a local bar area, yes, in college a little bit in the evenings. But, so I did do that for a while.
And so at some point you decided, I'm not going to waitress. I'm not going to be a server. I'm going to go full on with Fidelity.
Yeah.
And so then you became just a full-time Fidelity employee working with your mom.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
were you doing sales right away, or were you doing other things?
I started out underwriting immediately. Before I started full time, I was practicing to get my underwriter's license. So as soon as I went full time, I got my underwriter's license, and I started doing some of the sales when I was pregnant the first time. So about 2 years in. So 18 years ago, yes, that's when I first made my round that I was going to do the sales.
So there was a time you were doing both.
Yes, and
But
then
you
I did
transitioned from in-office to sales. And what was that like, the first few sales calls for you?
Horrible. Horrible.
How?
Awkward. I had really no idea what I was doing.
Right.
And so I assumed that I worked really hard. I wish I could find it, and I may still dig for her because I keep a lot of stuff like that. I had made this really lengthy sales pitch that I thought was just going to win the world over. I thought it was so good. And so I memorized it, I practiced it. So when I go into these offices, I knew some of the people through phone, voice, but I had never met any of them. So I go into all the offices, I get the list of offices, I'm planning out everything, and it was awful. I just started rambling this awkward, really weird sales pitch that I had, and making jokes, and they weren't even when you're supposed to be joking. It was so awkward. Oh, I could feel my face is getting hot just thinking about it. I mean, I was so embarrassed, and it was terrible. And I did that for a little while. I mean, it took me, I went through a solid rotation of all of our offices with this weird thing that I thought was going to win them over. And then,
how long did it take for you to get comfortable being a salesperson?
I actually had someone be very nasty to me, and very, so I left upset, and my feelings were hurt, and I thought, well, this is just not for me. You know, I'm not cut out for this. But I decided that I would just give it a go and just be myself, and just drop the sales pitch, and just try to make relationships, get to know these people, let them get to know me. And, you know, I'm 22 years old at the time,
right.
You know, I mean, so, and so once I dropped that nonsense, then I really started to see an improvement. I started to make relationships. People started to be happy to see me come around instead of, oh, here comes this one, you know. So yeah, once I dropped that and just worked with what I was given, what I had to offer, whatever that was, you know, that's when things started coming around.
So you dropped the salesy sort of pitch and just decided you're going to be yourself.
Yes, and I was going to build relationships and have trust and all the things, and then we could transition into more business aspects of what that, you know what I'm saying? But they had to trust me.
Right.
I had to feel comfortable with them at first, you know, which was not easy. Exactly at 22, I was a lot younger than a lot of the people in the offices, so I really had to navigate using that, you know, of kind of what I was dealing with. And so it took a little while, but yeah, it started happening.
What role would you say training played in your development?
I didn't have any.
You didn't have any, okay.
I didn't have any, but my most valuable training that I had was my underwriting, because I was able to at least have that I knew when they talk about a binder, a final, hookups, I know what you're talking about.
Right.
I'm coming in here representing Fidelity. I know what Fidelity does. I know why we're here. I know what we want to do. I know what you need. I know what I can give you. So I feel like my underwriting it really helped me.
Sure.
Yeah.
What was the best piece of advice you were given that helped you with your sales experience? Anything come to mind?
No, I don't think I was ever given any. I mean, I went in, my motto that I still live by is just leave people better than when you found them. And that was my thing, is that we're going to have a smile. We're going to share something. I want to make you a little bit, if you're having a bad day, let's, you know what I mean? Just leave them better than when I found them, and have a good experience with everybody that I see.
Can you describe your ideal customer?
Yeah, just someone that's obviously, I wouldn't say like myself, but somebody that we can laugh together, that we can, but just easygoing, honest. I like honesty and straightforward with me.
Okay.
Yeah, just happy, you know, of course. I mean, everybody, I think that's probably everybody's, but it's not always the case. But yeah, just honest. I like to be able to really break it down with them if we need to have a serious talk, you know, or whatever we need to do.
Earlier this year, we did some training, and we read a book called Take the Stairs. What does Take the Stairs mean to you?
Put in the hard work. Do the hard stuff. Self-control, you know, just do the things that don't come easy.
How have you embodied that concept in your professional life?
I think definitely in the past few years, I have come out of a place where I was maybe comfortable and assuming that we were good, or, you know, just checking on my people, just reevaluating, like with the new market, with the new title agencies coming in, with affiliated business and different things that are coming at us now. Reevaluating, like, are we good? You know, and not just assuming because we've done business for 10 years or however long, and having the hard conversations. Avoiding
complacency by doing the hard things and having those conversations.
Yeah, asking the hard questions, you know, that can be awkward if you let them, you know.
Can you describe an occasion when you took the stairs?
Oh goodness, let me think. I don't know about that. Did I write anything down for that? I guess just in general, I mean, I can't think of a specific occasion with anyone in specific. Are you saying like specific with a?
Well, I would imagine there are days where
Yeah.
you just don't want to do it.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. Okay, let's back up. Let's erase that if we can cut that out. I feel like I've taken the stairs every day since I've been pregnant.
Right.
I forgot about that.
Because your energy is sapped.
Oh, it's
because you're
gone.
growing as human.
Yes.
But you're still pushing on
Every day. Yes. And it's I am slow but steady.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my description of myself. Very slow, but I'm there. I'm showing up. So yes, thank you for. Yeah, I forgot all about that. Yeah, every day.
How about the opposite? Is there a time, if you're being honest, where you took the escalator, you didn't take the stairs?
I think I used to probably do that a little more, considering before things slowed down. I think I just expected when things were so crazy and business was just
Right.
like booming, I might, I have, I probably did used to more think, oh, I don't need to go out and see them this month, or
Right.
they're good, or, whereas now it's
business
like
is coming in.
business is coming in, but now it's like no days off, no skipping, absolutely not.
Can you describe a time for us when you felt empathy for a customer?
Yes. I may have told this story. I had a customer whose son who passed away. I went to visit the office, and I knew that she was the first face that I was going to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew she was coming back. This was her first day back. She had just buried her son, and I sat in my car and I thought, what do I want to say? What can I say? And I thought, I tried to put myself in her position, be empathetic as best as I could, and say, well, what would I want somebody to do to me? I don't want to get a Hallmark card
Mm-hmm.
saying in my face.
Right.
What would I want? So I just walked in and I hugged her, and we cried, and she cried, and I cried, and I just hugged her. And that's all I could do in that
Mm-hmm.
moment. So I feel like me thinking of what I would want someone to do and being empathetic to how she may feel, or how I would feel, or how I would want to be treated. And yeah, we have a great bond. I mean, that was she ended up sending me a card and thanking me for that moment. She just needed to cry.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't want to hear any garbage, or
Right.
you know what I mean, not
Yeah.
garbage, but she just wanted to cry. And so, yeah, I mean, I think I've had a lot of moments like that with customers.
What does that do for your relationship with the customer? When you show empathy for the
Yeah.
customer, how does that help in your role as a salesperson?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think it's so important. It's life-changing with them. I mean, you become human to them, and you accept their human qualities, and it's not just like this robotic, like there's a person in there. You're a person, they're a person. And it sounds simple, but sometimes people miss that.
Yeah.
That you just, the basic connection of
Mhm.
even if they're having a bad day, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. I
Mhm.
mean, like, honey, I can get there with you. You're having a bad day, let's talk.
Mm-hmm.
I've had bad, I mean, like anything that they need or that they're feeling,
Creates a connection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, I've been there. I know what you feel, or, just, I think it's important. It's important in life. It's definitely important in this too.
Another thing that we studied this year was navigating.
Mm.
We read a book called Navigate.
Mm-hmm.
What is the central concept of navigate in your mind?
I think it's just being able to adjust to a certain degree yourself to meet the needs of the person that you are dealing with, their sales type, their personality type. And
It's not one size fits all, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And do you try to navigate when you're out in the field, since you've read that book?
Absolutely, yeah.
Can you give me one experience or one example of navigating while you're out in the field?
Yeah, I've had my hardest challenge is the fighter.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had to deal with some of those people, and I've had to dial it down. And really, just size them up, find that way that I can connect with them, which is hard for me, but I've had a couple of those where I've had to really, work, they're the hard ones for me. And the detective.
Yeah.
Definitely are my hardest too.
So if I understand you, you identified a personality type as being fighter or detective, and you purposefully dialed yourself down. Instead of big, happy, emotional, funny Tia, you dialed it down a little bit.
Or even like I have someone who is OCD, like severely, and I can relate with that on a personal level. And I think that she was surprised to find that out about me, but now we've kind of connected over that, and we'll talk that was just my only way of, you know what I mean? Right. She's just really particular, really quiet, really OCD. And then when she found out, wow, you are too, and we can go talk for hours about things that bother us, or just little ways like that, like just identifying that she might not have looked at me and thought she's OCD as well, just kind of figuring out, looking at her office, I'm like, she's definitely OCD. I'm gonna, we're gonna talk about this, she's gonna know this about me. And so just ways like that to kind of connect.
What is your buying style?
Entertainer.
Right. And do you find it easier for you to connect with other entertainers?
I do, and counselors as well. I mean, I feel a little bit of that myself. If you can have a little dualness to you, I think I'm definitely the entertainer, counselor. More the entertainer, but I mean, obviously the entertainers are easy to connect with.
It's like talking to yourself.
Yeah, just a big goofy time.
What are the things that you typically talk about with your customers that are your value propositions?
You mean like turnaround time or things like that are
those?
Those
are examples. Is that what you typically?
Yeah, I feel like in our market, the pressure for like turnaround times is big, and accuracy. So I do just talk with them about that, about what we can offer, having somebody, in-house attorney that they can see face to face a lot and they can connect with. And
so turn times on commitments and policies, or mostly just commitments and revisions?
And lookups.
Turn times on lookups and commitments, and then counsel.
Yes.
Having good counsel who's there to answer questions.
Yes, and kind of what they expect on their end as far as flexibility when we do find out answers, when they do have questions. What are they expecting? Do they want just a flat out, we insure over it? Or do you want things to be right? Or where are you at? You know what I mean? Because they're all over the place. We have ones who are like, they want it right no matter what they have to do, no matter what hoops they have to jump through. That's what they appreciate us for. We have others that I don't care. I just want to hear, just say yes. Just say she looks good. Yeah. Just try to figure out what I'm dealing with that.
How important is scheduling to your process?
It is important. Yeah.
And how do you go about creating a schedule for yourself?
I look at my week, and I typically like to look at what, sometimes I will factor in when I do a report and I look at what we've gotten from someone, if I'm like, I need to go see them. You know what I mean? If there's somebody that sticks out, that I feel I need to get by there and check on them. And then I do a lot of scheduling too, because I pick up finals. The majority of my finals I pick up.
So you're basing your schedule on some external factors. There was an interaction maybe, and you want to go talk with them about that interaction, and then to pick up finals, you kind of make a loop depending on
I have a route of when
who hasn't submitted a final, or who has some that you need to go pick up. Do you do that on a particular day, or is it on a daily basis that you're arranging that schedule?
I typically set my schedule first of the week. As far as the last week of the month, that's typically for my final pickups. That's what I do the last week of the month. But then I have some that I'm picked up every week. So I do factor that in of where am I going to be this day? I don't have a huge territory. I mean, it's not terribly stretched out. So if I'm like, okay, this person wants theirs picked up once a week, I do have one that likes them once a week, then, you know, I'll do other areas around him that day,
Okay.
you know.
Sure.
So,
Do you have a favorite question that you like to ask repeat customers?
I guess just in general, just making sure, like I said, that's been my new thing in the past year, just making sure that they're good, that they are fulfilled, that they're getting what they would like to get from us, you
Sure.
know, that, and I try not to harp on them or, you know, err on the side of like, are you good? Is everything fine? But I do like to
Just
check
kind
in.
of checking
with
in.
them. Just
Yeah.
like to check in, you know?
How about for a prospect, somebody who's not a customer? Is there a favorite question you like to ask?
Well, I'd like to start out with just kind of feeling around, like going back to that other question and seeing what their expectations are and why do they currently use who they use the most.
Mhm.
What do you like about them? I mean, I want to know it all, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, I'm a nosy rose. So, just figuring out where they stand, what's important to them, and why they like who they like.
Okay.
That's one of my first things I like to figure out.
Sure. Are you familiar with the concept of an anchor?
Well, that's, you see my pink dot there?
Uh-huh.
That was no, I didn't fill that question out. Help
So
me
an
out here.
anchor is something that you go back to with a customer. So something that you
Okay.
have a conversation, and I think you just gave us an example
Okay.
with the OCD person.
Okay.
That is something that you can go back to with
Mhm.
that person.
Okay.
That is a connection that you have that you know that you can always go back to it.
Okay. Yeah, I have a several, and being from here and going to school here,
Mhm.
I have a lot of people that I know them personally as well, or we went to the same school, or we can talk where our kids got, you know, just
Right.
the familiar of being from here.
Of being in this
Mhm.
area, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you prepare any sort of conversation starters for yourself, or are you just so good with people that it just kind of comes naturally to you?
Well, it kind of goes back to my first like awkward. No, I don't prepare anything. I really just like to fill somebody out.
Okay.
I like to fill out their mood for the day. I like to fill out what they look like they like. If I'm first meeting them, you know, I mean, because I do have a lot of, being in a military town, I have a lot of new girls who are in and out of the office as paralegals.
Right.
So it's not like I'm dealing with the same people for
Right.
20 years. And so I like to look at what they're wearing. I mean, you know, just little things like where can we connect? What can we kind of talk about? You know, I'm obviously not going to be, how's the kids? Or do you have kids if she's 20 years old? You know what I'm saying? Like I really just kind of gauge it where I'm going to go with how they look and what I can gather from their desk even.
How much time do you spend on self-reflection on the job that you're doing?
I'd say a good, like, personal life or professional.
I meant professionally, like
Yeah.
looking at what happened during the course of the day and asking yourself,
yeah.
like, did I do something right there? Did I do something wrong there?
Yeah, I mean, I do spend a good bit of time, especially with certain, I don't want to say not problem, but certain offices where I don't feel like we're getting. I do self-reflect on the visits that I've had with them
Okay.
and where the breakthrough is.
Okay. How about self-improvement? How much time do you spend on self-improvement type things, like reading books or?
Oh yes, I do. I do like to journal, read books, stuff like, yeah, I do like to do that. So,
What I found with you is when I have suggested a book to you, you immediately devour it.
oh yeah, I do, because I need all the tools and tips and tricks I can get, even though I've been doing it for a long time. I mean, everything changes every day,
Yeah.
literally.
No, it's it's a really good point.
Yeah.
That if we think we've got it figured out, we're probably not right about that.
No ma'am, not even
Or
close.
sometimes the universe has a way of showing us
Yes.
you do not have it figured out.
Yes.
Describe a way in which you, Tia Hines, brings value to a customer.
Um, that's a tough question. Value to a customer. I mean, I think I listen well,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that uh, I try to problem solve things or work through things with them. Um, I think I'm open and I think I'm warm to my people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I think if anything, you know, we'll get a good hug, and if they don't need anything else, I mean that. You know, I think that but like yeah, I listen, and I care.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely care about
Yeah.
them. You know, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think as salespeople, you know, the answer we may think of immediately is, well, I sell title insurance products, right? That's what
Oh, yeah,
that's what I
yeah.
bring. But really, what you're saying, what I agree with you, is that it's not a product, it's a relationship.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
cheering up somebody's day. It's offering a friendly ear, and those are the ways that you bring value to your customers, not through a commitment or a policy.
Yeah, yeah, yes, absolutely. Because they will fight for you, and they will fight to use you through the realtors trying to persuade, or whoever, the lenders. If you have that relationship and you bring that to them, when they see you, they want you to do good as a person, you know? So I've been using what I tell Amy, that I'm like, don't y'all want to feed this baby? Or do y'all want him to go hungry? And so they're like, oh yeah, just joke, you know, I mean, so they want you to do well. So yeah, I think that's important.
How important is it for you to have somebody who helps you be accountable? Or are you good at just holding yourself accountable?
I mean, I like to challenge myself. I do. I like when, like we do, like when we read the books or you ask what, you know what I'm saying? I like to be introspective and look inside myself and challenge myself. But I mean, I handle my business as well. I mean, I'm a grown girl, so, I think I do hold myself accountable.
Okay. How about goals? Do you set goals for yourself, either annually or periodically, daily?
Yeah, I look at a lot of reports, and I do have goals that I'd like to see. And so when I don't feel like they've been met for the month, for example, for me, it's maybe not. I mean, of course, I have the money goals in mind, or the end of the month, but binder count. If I don't really like where I'm at, then I will kind of think, okay, you need to go in the red zone, and that's weird.
So this month I've got to get this many.
Exactly. Yeah.
And do you do that like at a particular time of the month, or as during the month? Do sometimes those goals shift and change?
I mean, I have a couple. I'd like to see a certain amount each month, and kind of hit that threshold at least.
Like a target.
I do have a target.
Yeah.
And then with each attorney, I mean, obviously that's all relative. If they send us nothing, then I'd love to see 2 or 3 or 5. If they send us 20 a month, I'd love to see 25. Or, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of relative to what we already do. I want to keep increasing. I do want to increase with everybody.
In what ways, if at all, do you acknowledge the efforts of inside staff? And why would that be important as a salesperson to do that?
Oh, it's absolutely, because our service is everything. That's what we're giving. I personally think I really appreciate my inside staff, and I tell them often.
By email, by phone?
I
do you
will
tell
Teams them. I haven't gotten down there as much as I'd like. I'm not really traveling much these days.
Because your inside staff's in Wilmington and you're
They
in
are,
Jacksonville.
yes. So I just had a conversation this past week with them. I like to constantly tell them that I'm thankful for them, and I also let them know, hey, I've been an underwriter. I've been sitting at that inbox when it's been going crazy and it's stressful, and I know what they're going through on their end as an underwriter that's sitting behind the inbox, and it's like, it's hard, and so yeah, I mean, I have a good relationship with the girls, and that my inside staff, I think, yeah, we have a good relationship.
Do you think that's important to them to hear that
100%.
from you as the sales rep?
I would hope. I hope it is. I mean, that's something that you'd have to ask them, or do you don't know? I mean, but I feel like it's very important, and I hope they know that I'm genuine about that, and I am thankful for them. Absolutely, they work hard, and they're everything. They're the backbone. You know, I'm just the mouth out there. You're
really selling their efforts, aren't you?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you engage in prospecting? So by prospecting, I mean looking for that next person. And how do you do that? What ways do you?
Well, I try
what
to.
are your tricks?
I try to, at the very least, stay on top of the new attorneys. We do have some that are kind of coming in, as some of them are going out.
How do you know that? How do you know, like, this is a new attorney?
Well, I have a couple realtors that I'm friends with personally, that have brought some things to my attention in the past. And sometimes they'll just kind of, just word of mouth, just through people.
Yeah.
Oh, have you seen so-and-so that started, or this one's at this one's now,
Yeah.
and getting them approved, and just kind of like we had a recently, a whole real estate section added to an attorney that's been here in town for 30 years. He never did real estate. So we, he let us know, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes they'll reach out, but mostly word of mouth of people.
Yeah. I think that's so interesting and great of you that you're using real estate agents, right? Someone who's not in our business necessarily, to kind of clue you in on things that you might not otherwise know.
Yeah. They're the best because it can help with the market too. Like, hey, I have a friend, you know, I'll text, I'll be like, are y'all slow? Or, I mean, or how, you know, if they're slow, and so they can really tell you a lot of things about the market. So get you a few good realtor friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
what kind of data points are you looking for when you're out in the field? So you're asking questions, right? You've said that. So what sort of data points are you looking for? By that I mean sort of facts. What kind of facts are you looking for from your customers?
just where they are business wise,
Okay,
what
so-
they look like.
So how many closings are you doing?
How many closings are you doing? Again, to circle back of who do they find that they're gravitating to? I mean, title insurance wise, are they having a lot of, you know, I like to check and make sure and see what kind of push they're getting from lenders and realtors, how much of that they give into. I mean, if they're like, hey, I give into it a lot, then we kind of know, oh, okay, you know, or if they just throw them a bone every now and then, or, you know, just different stuff like that, just kind of what's going on. I like to have that conversation. Just once we've had our fun talk or whatever, I do like to cover kind of what is going on in their office. Forget the market, forget the bit, what do you guys have going on?
How about things like birthdays or
yeah.
number of kids or
yeah.
how old the kids are? Those are things you're all soliciting when you're out in the field.
Yes, and I keep up with birthdays, and I do gift cards for birthdays.
How do you is there a place you record that data, or is it just all up in here?
Oh, I have a calendar, just like one, you know, where I just write the birthdays
For
and
birthdays.
the calendars.
How about for kids, like the number of kids or how old your kids are or what sports your kids are involved in?
Yeah, I do make notes. I make a lot of notes.
Handwritten notes?
I do.
Okay.
I'm a hands-on. I'm not very computer savvy. That's one thing I try. But I do. I'm a hand, like I have notebooks.
Do you review those notes before you go out in the field?
Yeah, and with, as far as personal stuff, I will say, yes, I do have a lot of stuff, but I am pretty good about that, I will say.
Just what? Remembering
Just
it.
remembering.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you know, I'm pretty good about that, about asking. And once you see these people, some of them I see 2-3 times a month, depending on pickups. I mean, so it becomes a constant habit, dialogue.
And probably the act of writing it down helps you remember too.
And then seeing them, like, for example, like on social media, if you're Facebook friend, do you know what I'm saying? Then you see them on there, and you can see their babies there, or they show, you know, I mean, so there's, I feel like I'm pretty good with that. Now the birthdays I do write down, of course, but, you know, if somebody has a wedding coming up or a baby shower, of course, those kind of things I mark. And I keep up with people, like we have someone who has a service dog, and I keep up with his birthday.
The dog's birthday.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I take it. Yes, we are best friends. We've been best friends for 4 years. Like when I come in, she takes his vest off immediately. We have our moment for about 10 minutes, wallowing on each other. We're in love. So.
How about prior policy data? Are you capturing that data, and are you using it in any way?
I still do look, and Michelle and I actually had this conversation the other day. She was asking if I still looked, and I do, you know, and I told her I thank you for that, because I know it is an extra step on her end. You know, she's like, hey, I'm trying to, you know what I mean? Like, keep up with that. So I think that's been helpful.
How have you been able to use it?
Well, I've used it a couple times because I've been able to kind of revisit with people and say, hey, we sent 50 priors.
Yeah.
We've gotten, I don't know, 18, you know, what's up? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when you can really give them, because I don't ever want to put anybody on the spot. That's not my way. However, you know, I like to have good data before I go in there.
And sometimes just mentioning it.
Just mentioning.
You don't have to beat them up. You just say, we sent you 50 priors.
Exactly.
What's
exactly.
up? What's up?
Exactly.
Right?
Yep. And just to have that though, and not just assume like, they haven't been sending us a whole lot. Like, I want to know what we've sent them to really know, you know, what's going on there. So yeah, it is helpful.
We've spent a day together in the field, you and I. And one of many things that impressed me about you was that you never left an office without turning it around to business and having some sort of closing words. Do you have some favorite closing words that you like to use before you leave an office?
Yeah, I like to cover the points. First of all, that we're thankful for them, grateful for that. That we're always striving to meet their needs. That's important to let them know to me. And that I'm there. Let me know what you need. Let Amy know. Here's her card. Here's her stuff. Call so-and-so. Do you know what I'm saying? That they always have an avenue of some person to reach out to.
Sort of just reminding them as you walk out the door, hey, we have services.
Exactly.
We have things that we do. That'll helpful. Do you put on events for your customer? And I ask you that on the day where you're doing a Christmas party.
Yes, yes.
How often do you do events? And how are they helpful?
I will say I did my first Fidelity Connect in October, and that was, I thought that was good. We enjoyed that. So that's something I definitely, when I'm up and running and ready to tackle the world again, that I'd like to do. And I mean, I've got some things that I thought about doing in the spring. There's something that I've been wanting to do for a few years now. So yeah, I mean, I think they're super helpful.
In what ways?
Just to have everybody, just to get out of the office, to get out of that office environment. Like I've said, I'm big on like lunches out of the office, so we can just get away from that computer and just have that one-on-one, like
to develop the relationship.
Exactly. And not have emails popping through or clients coming in, and just to have the ability. So I think they are important to be able to see people outside of the office a little bit, and they're a little more relaxed, of course, you know. So yeah, I think you'll see like today with the Christmas party, I mean, they're always, people really enjoy them, you know, and to see other offices that they don't ever get to see, you know.
And that's possibly another thing that's beneficial is you're putting these people together, and maybe somebody's looking for a new paralegal, and maybe a paralegal's looking for a new opportunity, and you're kind of the person that has put them all together. Exactly,
yes.
Do you look at anything to track trends in the marketplace? I think you mentioned one thing. You mentioned that the real estate agents sometimes will give you data about what's happening in the world. Are there other ways in which you kind of trend the market? You know, is it coming up? Is it going down?
Other than word of mouth of just kind of feeling around, no.
Just talking to your people.
Just talking to people, yeah.
All right, Tia, we are at a point now where I'm going to ask you 10 questions.
Okay.
And the idea is just first thing off the top of your head as we go through these questions.
Rapid.
All right?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. What is a place where you would want to live?
The beach.
What is a place where you would not want to live?
The city.
What is something that makes you happy?
Spending time with my 18-year-old growing boy, because it's less and less.
What is something that makes you sad?
How quickly time passes.
What is a sound or noise that you love?
Music.
What is a sound or noise that you hate?
Everything. Literally everything bothers me, sound-wise. Like, loud sound, yeah. I could list that all day. We could be here all day, so.
What is a guilty pleasure for you?
Nothing specific. I can make everything that's pleasurable guilty, because I'm excessive. So my guilt, anything that you do that's fun, or oh, let's have a bowl of ice cream. No, girl, let's get the gallon. Oh, let's go shopping for a pair of pants. No, new wardrobe. So yeah, I'm excessive. So
Okay. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
private investigator,
Okay.
stakeouts, nosy stuff,
Yeah.
stalking people. Love that.
What is a profession that you would not like to do?
Healthcare.
Okay.
Anything in healthcare.
If you could have dinner with any person, dead or alive, who would that be?
My dad's mom. She died when I was 2, and supposedly we're like twin flames. We're like mirror images of each other, according to everyone. So I'd like to see her
Perfect.
if I could. Yeah. So
Well, Tia, thank you for your time.
thank you.
That has been our first episode of Inside the Mind of the Sales Rep, and we hope to bring you future episodes very soon.